Hello and welcome back to the last days, and the War of the Two Towers has begun. This is where we are, just about to attack Master Berza himself. I know it's... okay, I know it seems like we're just destroying some Gundabad raiders, but trust me, he's there, and you can quite clearly tell that because of the amount of units that he has. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm even going to be able to achieve victory, because he has such a significant advantage in terms of numbers that it might very well be the case that he's just going to absolutely massacre me and I'm going to need to retreat at the first possible opportunity. But we have to try, because eliminating Gundabad is our first step to victory. And let me tell you, actually, the war seems to be going quite well. I've been running around in Rune territory, basically just trying to eliminate as many enemy raider parties and patrols and supply trains as I can. And that is pretty much all I've been doing, mostly, in my off-screen time. I haven't found any vassals whatsoever, which is actually kind of strange. I would have expected to actually find more of them, but apparently not. Not entirely sure why that is, but apparently they're quite difficult to find if they don't want to be found. You know what I mean? So I'm basically just hoping right now that we're going to be able to deal massive damage with my bow here, and then I'll go into melee and see what I can do. Hopefully my horse is not going to get murdered in the meantime. And bear in mind that I have to be very careful about where the trolls are, because the trolls, they have a tendency to stagger your horse. And obviously that's a big problem. Oh, hello there. Okay, yeah, now these orcs and goblins, they are really not very good, as you can quite clearly tell. If those were uruks right there, they probably would have either done massive damage to me, or I would be dead, pretty much. I think that that's what would be happening right now, but thankfully that is not the case, because, well, they're just goblins, and yes, goblins are very, very easy. And you can see here, there's one attacking me from behind, and I'm just like, are you actually attacking me, or are you just tickling me with a feather duster? Because that appears to be all that is happening. So yes, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's actually kind of strange fighting against enemies like this when we have previously faced elves, and that's also the reason why I personally feel like The Last Days is one of the best experiences that you can have after you finish your first playthrough of native Warband, because you come into this and you're like, wow, look at all these new systems, all the innovations that the mod creators have made. And obviously if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, then this is pretty fantastic too, because it is set in the same world and has the same units, and it's just very, very faithful to the original source material. And I mean, just the environments alone pretty much have that kind of effect. But what I'm mostly talking about here is the dynamicism in the game and in your campaign. Because it doesn't matter who you start with or what kind of character you're playing. Eventually you're going to end up with a situation like this, although that doesn't actually happen if you're playing an elf, as far as I'm aware. The War of the Two Towers doesn't actually start, I don't think, unless you eliminate someone ahead of time. So, like, for example, if you eliminate Mordor first, then it might very well be the case that they'll do something about that. They'll actually start attacking each other. And I'm talking about Gundabad actually attacking Dol Guldur and so on and so forth, and things like that. I'm actually not entirely sure, because it's been a while since I have played my elf, and I'm actually dying here. Can you believe that? But you know what the main reason I'm dying from is? The wargs. Yeah, the dismounted riders have been killed, or in general have been taken down, and the wargs are the reason why I'm actually being killed right now. Because once their riders are dead, or dismounted somewhere, they continue attacking, which is actually fantastic. In my opinion, a very, very cool little feature right there. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Look at that. We actually eliminated all of them. We have lost 16 so far, which in my opinion is not that big a deal. I'm going to dismount from my horse. And I don't know why I'm doing that, to be honest. Look at that huge thrown weapon just literally embedded in a little bit of my armor there. Pretty fantastic. Kind of gruesome. Thankfully, it's not embedded in my actual flesh. It seems to just be a flesh wound. And we have a number of trolls here that I will no doubt try to now kill if I can. Bear in mind that these guys are obviously very difficult to hit because technically these trolls are actually just regular sized units wearing some oversized armor. And it's very difficult to sort of determine where their heads are and so on and so forth. The mod creators have done their best to give an accurate hitbox, but it's very difficult because of the limited tools that they have available to them. But yeah, as you can see, oh, nice. Yeah, if you can get a headshot, then you do massive damage. But obviously, if you can't get a headshot, then you just have to try and hope that you deal enough damage to eventually eliminate them. And you can see here that this troll is absolutely murdering everything. Look at that. Pushing me back down onto the ground right there. And there you go. That's indeed a victory for us. Wow. Okay, so this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to go in against this guy, because it's giving us a really nice opportunity to find out just how strong my army is at the moment. Because this basically says to me, hey, I'm actually capable of doing things much larger than myself, so I can basically take on pretty much anything at this point, at least from GUNDABAD, because that is the leader. That was the leader right there. He was the leader of the faction, and we eliminated him without too many difficulties at all. And so I'm just going to go back into Dale real quick, because I'd like to maybe sell some stuff, maybe not actually, because it seems like I don't even need to sell anything, and there's food here and all that wonderful stuff as well. Okay, so I'm actually wanting to check something real quick. Okay, my horse is actually not lame. Interesting. I thought it was lame because we were running so incredibly slowly. It's very strange. Not entirely sure what's going on with that. Heavy rune horse. Okay, yeah, heavy rune heavy horse. Okay, that's kind of strange. Look at that. Heavy rune horse and then rune heavy horse. Okay, yeah, so the rune heavy horse obviously has double the HP that the other one does. And I was just thinking maybe I'll swap it out for something a little bit quicker. But I don't need to do that by the looks of things. Okay, so Jarl Helkaroth is obviously on his way to besiege the northwestern outpost. I would love to be able to do something with him here. Maybe he will do it, maybe he won't. I am not entirely sure, but I'm going to accompany him. And then we're just going to follow him over to where he is going to, yes, inevitably besiege this. So let me actually just take a quick look at the faction strengths. So you can see here that Mount Gundabad is significantly less powerful than they used to be. They were at 8,000 almost all the time, unmatched. And now they're back down to 6,400, which is giving them a rating of very strong. Unfortunately, Dol Guldur is not doing so well, but Moria is also relatively in the same boat, so I shouldn't have to worry too much about Dol Guldur getting eliminated so easily. And bear in mind that we do have the numbers advantage. We have Mordor on our side, obviously, and they are indeed unmatched. Rune is the most powerful, as you would expect in the game. So we basically have Mordor, Harad, Khand, Umbar, Dol Guldur, and Rune, obviously, and I believe that I believe that's it. Umbar? Did I mention Umbar? Not entirely sure, but whatever the case, we have all those factions up against just 4 of them, I believe, because we have Isengard, Moria, Gundabad, and Dunland, and that's it. So yeah, it's basically, you know, we have the numbers advantage so dramatically right there. Anyway, let's see what happens here at Gundabad Northwest Outpost. Seems like a bunch of vassals are running away. I'm not entirely sure why they would do that. Okay, there we go. We have another person. Oh, look at him. He's already come back. Are you serious? Come back here, you. Come back here. They're actually going in there. You know what? I'm just going to let them do that because I lose way too many units anyway from me actually participating in these sieges. I actually did want to show you a siege against Gundabad, but obviously I would much prefer to show you one of the more major centers of their populace. So instead we're just going to go into another another field battle with this guy, and hopefully just round him up real fast, take him down, and then we might be able to catch up and even join in at the northwestern outpost. I think that could be quite amusing. I'm not entirely sure how the layout is there or anything like that, so it might be not so good, but we'll see. It seems as though Master Berza himself has not done a very good job of leveling up his units before he ventured outside of the safety of the walls of his various fiefs, because it seems to me like he has just run in here with a bunch of rank 1 goblins, and they are not very good. I mean, you can quite clearly tell that that is indeed the case, because he seems to be losing so many units in such a quick amount of time that, well, you can see for yourself from the routed enemies. I believe that there are many of them. Can I kill this troll, please? So much HP. So much HP. There we go. There we go. Nice. Yeah, by the way, if you eliminate trolls, you get a lot of experience. A huge amount of experience. And this is actually a really good way. A good recommendation for leveling up as an elf. Because if you are going to do battle against some of the patrols or some of the caravans or something like that of Moria specifically, because they're quite close to where the elves might be, unless you're obviously starting in who are those guys again? Mirkwood, that's it. Unless you're starting with Mirkwood, they are all close to Moria. So in other words, Lothlorien and Rivendell and all those places, they are all very close to Moria. So anyway, point is, if you want to level up really fast, or at least level up your character a little bit quicker, then it's a really good idea to go up against those guys, because there's a bunch of cave trolls in the area. There's wild ones as well, so there's just regular trolls that are not commanded by anyone, and you can eliminate those and they do basically nothing to your forces, because get this, they use blunt weapons. Yes, they use blunt weapons, so it's super easy to gain some experience there, especially if you have a mount, and especially if you have a decent bow and a lot of arrows, because you're going to need a lot of arrows, especially at low skill levels. But that's a nice little early game recommendation from me there if you're wanting to play as an elf. Anyway, there you go. That is that was even faster than before. I mean, really, that was super quick. Okay, so Kusalak, where are you running to? Come back here, sir. You need to help with this particular siege, you imbecile. Okay, well, whatever the case, he's running, which is absolutely fine. We have, what? 96 Balkoth horse archers. I can't believe it. Okay, so how many people do they have here? 600. Okay, this is going to be kind of a bloodbath, in my opinion. Ah, yes. A familiar sight indeed. Okay, I will be telling my forces to hold position here. I do not want them to run in and die, because that is exactly what is going to happen. Can you see any of the enemies? No, me neither. Me neither. That is exactly the problem with these siege layouts. They are so incredibly deadly. They really are, and I actually have no idea how anyone normally would be able to come in here and take this. It is so incredibly difficult. I mean, you can see that the GUNDABAD skirmishers and so on are all on the battlements here, or technically you could call them the battlements, but it's such a kill box. It is really just a huge kill box. It's very difficult, especially for units like Rune, who have no shields inherently. And we have a troll. Oh my, really? A troll? Okay, nice headshot, but no damage. I just have to wait for him to lower his shield. But that's problematic in itself. Okay, let me just try and shoot some of the enemies right here. You can see how many there actually are. I mean, there's 600 of them. I think I might actually just retreat and just allow them to do this in an auto-resolve. I'm not going to participate in the auto-resolve, of course, but I think I think I actually have to do that. I don't think I will be able to assist them here. I think it is way too much. This is exactly the reason why GUNDABAD itself is extremely difficult to take for the player. And I have no idea how you would be able to do it. I assume a war of attrition style is required to be able to eliminate them. Or to just allow the AI to do as much damage as possible and then to head in when they are a little bit more, well, a little bit easier, shall we say? Because, yeah, that is impossible in my opinion. That's one of those things where you need to have something. Like for example, if you were attacking GUNDABAD earlier on in the campaign's life cycle, then it would be, in my opinion, probably the dwarves that would have the greatest shot of dealing with GUNDABAD. And that's the reason why the dwarves are actually up here, because obviously the dwarves are almost in my opinion at least, a direct counter to GUNDABAD. Maybe not in field battles, because obviously dwarves are extremely slow, and they don't have any cavalry as far as I'm aware. But for the most part, dwarves are going to be extremely difficult for GUNDABAD to kill. And they're going to just have all of their shields raised. They're going to have insane amounts of staying power, and that is all that you really need when you're up against GUNDABAD, especially in these kinds of sieges. So it seems like the dwarves would definitely be like a secret weapon for the northern factions here. And it seems like Dol Guldur northern outpost has come under siege, so I'm actually going to head down there. Let's see what we can do. Got a couple of people that I can, of course, level up as well. And here's not GUNDABAD. Here's Moria. Okay, do you think I can fight these guys? This is Mirkwood. Bear that in mind. This is Mirkwood. I might have to chase them out of Mirkwood before I fight them inside it, because in my opinion, Mirkwood is the natural enemy of every single cavalry force in existence. Oh, it seems like they're just heading in there. Okay, I guess I'll just head in there and just do an auto-resolve. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought we would have murdered him in literally one fell swoop, but apparently we needed to do a little bit more. A little bit more. All right. Well, not too bad. Okay, yeah. So generally what I've been doing, as I said before, is basically just running around and trying to auto-resolve against as many raider parties and patrols as I could. And it seems like that's actually paying off quite nicely, because as you could no doubt tell when we took a look at the combat strength or faction strength of GUNDABAD, they are not doing as well as maybe they thought they would be. So I'm pretty happy with that. And also you can, of course, go back here to the barracks and you can try and recruit some more units anytime you want. So I guess it is just a case of us waiting and biding our time, as is mostly the case with the last days when you head into the last little stretch of the campaign. And we can only hope that Mordor is going to finally be able to take one of these advanced camps and destroy it. Yeah, it seems like they're not able to either, which is really quite unfortunate. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Very, very short episode. Don't have a huge amount of time today, unfortunately, but hopefully I will have more time very soon. And hopefully you'll join me next time. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.